Hey sports fans, welcome to the Greg Medford Show. I am your host, Greg Medford. We are doing interviews from the 2023 Atlanta Blade Show here in Atlanta, Georgia, in hot Atlanta. It's already humid. I had swamp ass the minute I got off the airplane. I couldn't even believe it. I'm here with Big B, Bernie, the leather guy. I've just been introduced. He's all over the internet making. I just saw some crazy sheaths that had beautiful full color on them. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that.
Wow.
I've done a little bit of leather work, but not that kind of pretty. I wanted to talk to you about that and a couple of designs you're doing for tops and basically just get your story a little bit. Where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, California, born and raised, and I'm a good kind of crazy, not like the ones that we have a bad reputation for.
All right, so you're good LA.
Yeah, I'm a good. There's still some like-hearted brothers out there that have good heads on their shoulder.
You know, California, the thing about California is it's an amazing place, right? And it has a bunch of amazing creative people. It just has a whole lot of fucking nutty people. But it has a whole lot of normal people.
And you know what? I don't blame it on. I really don't. If I really stop and think about it, I don't really blame it on race, on anything. I blame it on bad parenting. There's just a lot of homes just don't have. They're single-parent households, and kids are being raised by brother, sister, grandma, and they're just, because I know growing up, some of the stuff the kids are getting away with. I had fear of my dad and mom beating the shit out of me when I got home.
Fear is good when you're young.
Exactly.
Especially for boys.
Yeah, especially, to get you out of trouble. So
yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of good-hearted people out there. I really think there's a parenting issue that's not just happening in California, but it's going on throughout the country.
What did you tell me a little bit about your background? What got you into leather?
Well, I grew up on Olvera Street, which is the historical hub of downtown LA. My dad was a Mexican immigrant that came to the country. He saw an opportunity. He fell in love with America, became an American citizen, but he opened up his fruit stand on Olvera Street because there was a lot of Hispanics out there. And he was the first one recognized 50 years ago to bring lemon, salt, and chili, which is very common in Mexico before he came to the States. But he was the first one to bring it to LA County, which is now a staple with all the fruit stands almost all over the place. They put lemon, salt, and chili in fruit. And he was recognized by LA Times, Despierta America. So on Olvera Street, I grew up with buddies of mine. He's a third-generation leather craftsman from Murillo Leather. And we'd go to the bars when we were younger and get drunk, and he'd forget that he had a lot of projects to do. So he'd say, "Barty, come help me make some belts, otherwise my dad's going to kick my ass." So there goes that fear factor again. So,
nice.
So we'd go into the shop, and I'd help him with leather, and then I started getting into knives through martial arts, and I told him, "Hey, can you teach me how to make my own sheath?" And from there, my first sheath that I ever made was actually for a Topps Tom Brown tracker, which was my first knife that I actually shelled out more than $100 for. So
when was that? When are we talking?
Oh, we're talking about, I'd like to say 13, 14 years.
That's when, what was his name? Was it Mike? Who used to own, who was the guy?
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, it was Mike, right?
Mike was still
yeah.
owner of Topps, and I think the movie The Hunted came out. And that's how I discovered the Tom Brown tracker.
Very cool.
And I just thought it was just a cool looking blade. And so when I got it, I did not like the Kydex that came in. And I wanted to make my own sheath. And I took it to my buddy Mondo. And so my first sheath is the one that was for my Tom Brown tracker. And it still sits on my wall.
Nice. I love me some leather on a knife. Talk to me a little bit about what you brought here today.
Well, I brought here some sheaths that I've made that some popular sheaths. This is my pocket sheath for small fixed blades.
So this drops down in the pocket,
yeah,
and the clip holds it down in your pocket.
Yeah, so when you draw the blade,
is this an Ulti-Clip? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the Ulti-Clip, and what I did with this, it sits flat on your pocket, but the way it's contoured, you could put your keys will drop right underneath, other stuff will drop. So when you reach into your pocket, it really doesn't get in the way. It almost feels like you're carrying a folder.
Okay.
And I recently designed a smaller version of that to make even more room in your pocket.
All right.
But what's cool about this is that you have the option if you want to sit it lower or sit it higher.
Oh, you can drop it down
exactly.
or drop it up.
You could drop it
nice.
Up and down, and of course Ulti-Clip. A lot of people are now familiar with Ulti-Clip. They do a lot of stuff for holsters and Kydex sheets. So this is one of my popular sheets. This is my other one. And then these are some standard custom leather sheets that I make. I also do a lot of tooling. These ones don't have like my really.
So this is just is this the final finish on this?
Yes, that's the final finish. That's a buffalo hide. It's
All
shoulder.
right, so you leave that natural.
Yeah, I like leave it natural, give it a real like a rustic look.
Oh, it's very cool.
And this sheath is also the same. It's also got a belt clip.
What kind of machine are you stitching with here?
I have a Cobra Classic 5 Cobra 5.
Okay.
Which is
saddle stitcher that'll do 3/4 of an inch or something.
Yeah, it goes through. Yeah, about.
Yeah, crazy.
It's nuts how deep that stitcher goes, and they're in Ontario. They're actually out of California, and a lot of leather makers start using their stitching products, and their products guaranteed for life. So breaks down, I just drive over to Ontario and they fix it for me.
Well, it's got your stitching is really nice. I mean, you clearly know what you're doing. I love the spacing on your stitches. They look great.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I have looked at a couple sheaths in my day, and I love where you're doing your double stitching too.
Thank you.
You're running around twice, hitting the same holes.
Yeah, sometimes I do. Like in the back part, I like to hit it twice. On this area right here,
yeah,
I hit it twice, and then on the top, I hit it 3 times because that's the area that
get all the pulling and
that's
strain.
where it'll probably come loose. So I want to make sure that I want to make beautiful, functional works of art.
Well,
I don't want it to just look beautiful. I want it to make sure that it's an heirloom piece that'll go down generations.
You can tell, when you see that, like that's a kind of thing a lot of people will miss looking at a leather sheath. But I look right at that and I'm like,
you
shit.
noticed right away. I'm impressed.
He's double stitching, he's double stitching, and it's right. It's all the spots where it's going to wear and pull over the years.
Exactly.
So very nicely done. I love that. I'm a native Arizonan, so
we're neighbors.
We're almost like practically. You almost speak a little Spanish growing up. There's so much Mexican influence in Arizona. I go back east. If I cook, everyone's like, "Oh my God, all the food is so hot." And I'm like, "It seems normal to me." My Midwestern friends come out. They're like, "God, why do you guys cook so hot out here?" I go, "That's the way we cook out here. It's a little hotter."
You get used to it. When I was a kid, I couldn't eat anything spicy, and my dad had a restaurant not far from the fruit stand in Novair Street, and our cooks were from Michoacan. And everything they did was super spicy. And I would ask for them to make me a mild salsa. Sure enough, they would make it spicy. And I was upset, but I would still eat the food.
Yeah.
And I just gradually started getting, the older I got, now I can't have my Mexican food without spicy salsa. I don't like it to the point where it burns your mouth and you lose the flavor. I like it where it's got enough heat.
I'm sweating after I have food that I like. And I mean, I'm not like my face.
I don't like to lose the flavor though.
But I'm sweating. But I'll sweat a little bit. I'm all right with that.
But there's times that they put too much pepper where it overpowers the flavor of the food, and that's where I'm on that border.
You're fucking second generation foodie, huh? So
That's
it's
right.
funny. My grandfather came from Greece. He had a fruit cart, and the fire department in Boston was retiring all of the horses. So he used retired fire department horses to pull his cart. And he used to tell these great stories when I was a kid about how the first cars didn't have horns, they had bells on them. And when the fire horses heard the bells, they fucking freaked out because they're used to being in an upstairs stable, and they would ring a bell and the horses would run out and go down this circular staircase and line up in front of their fire cart.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he had these fire horses, and my family started in the fruit and vegetable business in Boston. So when I hear you talk about that, it resonates with me. And the value of family and craftsmanship and all that. I love all that. We the reason I brought up Arizona is we have there's so much Mexican community there. Mm-hmm. You want to get great upholstery work done on your car. There's still guys handcrafting, doing real tuck and roll, doing really nice work for your car. You go down to kind of where the Mexican part of town is. And
there's pride. There's pride there. There's definitely pride in their crafts and the things they do. It's not like these guys are just trying to make a quick buck. There's a lot of pride in the work they do. I'm sure there's a few slackers that want to just get the quick dollar, but it's my community. I'm very proud of my heritage, very proud to be an American, but I'm very proud of my Mexican heritage in the fact that there's a lot of culture, there's a lot of craftsmanship, there's a lot of pride, a lot of honor with the folks, and that's one area where I tip my hat. My dad taught me work ethic, and it's also that we're known for that in the community. So
well, if you keep your family close and you work hard, a lot of life kind of works out.
Yes, absolutely.
I love what you're doing here. Tell me about this Kydex stuff that you're doing with Tops.
Well,
now.
Actually, I'm not doing the Kydex. They do the Kydex for me because it was just another hobby I did not want to get into because I do not have the time.
Okay.
But they do the Kydex for me. But what I'm doing with them is throughout the years, I started getting a lot of knives to make sheaths for, and I just thought, hey, you know what? I can design a knife. So I kind of thought of a lot of different designs that came through my hands and of what I would want to carry being a motorcycle rider. I ride cross-country motorcycle trips. I'm a motor touring biker.
What kind of bike do you have?
I actually now have a, I'm probably going to get laughed. I started off with Harleys, and now I have a BMW 1250 RT.
Hey, Jeff. Where's Jeff at? Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeff's got a BMW, and I drive a BMW R9T. So
so we're good.
Yeah, we're
because
super
at this point in my life, I care about comfort than looking cool.
Oh, well, there's nothing not cool about a BMW R9T. That's a super cool bike.
And for many years, I was riding a GS Adventure. For about the last 10 years, I rode a GS Adventure. But it's so tall and high, I finally want to get into a lower, faster bike. So cross-country, I want to carry a one-purpose tool. So I designed a knife that would have multi-purpose tools. I didn't bring the original one, but I did bring the second generation.
Yeah, let me see.
And this is called the Triple B. Tops Knives makes it for me, which the irony is my first leather sheath I ever made is the company
on the tops,
that's making my knives for me, which was such a cool experience by its own. So this knife right here, I call it the Triple B, which stands for Big B blade. And it's got it's a multi-purpose tool. It's got a bottle opener right here. It's got a 90-degree grind, so it doesn't affect the blade when you want to spark a fire.
Yep.
It's got a screwdriver at the end, little pry bar, pommel, glass breaker. I put jimping on here because, like I said, I trained in martial arts that are knife fighting.
What style?
It's called Anjing Bampa, but our sensei had a lot of influence from both ninjutsu, eskrima, and the Filipino martial arts.
Okay.
Which is
very knife centric.
And it's got a jimping here, so you could do nice cutting and carving, high grind, little kettle to grab your kettle out of the fire without burning your hands. So this was the first. This was the second generation one. And it's called the Triple B, and those are only available through me, but Tops produces them for me.
Cool. Where can people buy these if they want to buy them?
On my on my Instagram or my Facebook.
What's your Instagram?
Big B Leatherworks. So it's big_B_B Leatherworks.
All right.
And on Facebook, it's Big B Leatherworks. And you guys could instant message me. These knives are available through me only.
What's this knife go for?
That knife shipped in the U.S., it's $185.
All right. And what's the steel made out of?
Steel made is $10.95.
$10.95. I meant what's the knife made out of? And so this is 100% USA made.
100.
And
yes.
they make the Kydex sheath for it.
They make the Kydex, and I do the leather. So even the sheath has a little bit of my leather influence, which is a strap.
The strap and the drop.
Yeah, you could wear it horizontally, or you could take the belt loop off, or keep the belt loop on and wear it vertically like a drop loop.
And retail $185.
Correct.
Nice.
And I do leather. I do leather sheaths. It'll fit in this sheath also.
Nice.
So if you want to
what's a sheath like that go for?
This one is $165 shipped in the U.S. So
okay, cool.
And then the smaller one, this one's right here, is $150. And then I do plain ones that, of course, go for less.
Yeah.
So
all right.
The more work I put into it, the higher the price is.
So here, go ahead and take that back so I don't stab you.
And then from this one, the idea for a small one, which is I call this one the RPG, which stands for Road Pup Goyo. Since my original blade was called the Road Dog, I wanted to get a Road Pup, and my English Bulldog's name is Goyo. So
Goyo?
Road Pup Goyo, yeah.
What's that stand? What's that mean?
They call him Gregorio. It's just short for Goyo. Goyo is short for Gregorio.
All right.
I don't know. My wife named him.
You named your dog Gregory?
My wife's brother did. It was his dog originally.
Okay, I've never heard that before. I find it hilarious.
So now we call him Goyo.
Goyo.
I call him Goyo for short.
Perfect.
And he's all over Instagram. He's a talking bulldog.
That's hilarious.
We have conversations together.
Hilarious.
And then so this knife was born from that, and it's a small version of the bigger one.
Nice.
And this one is going to be part of the Tops roster. We already finalized agreements with them to make sure that it gets done. Probably won't be available until next year. Hopefully by SHOT Show they'll present it. I don't know yet. We're working those details out, and it all really matters on their timeline of production. But this knife, I'm going to do a limited run of 200 in stainless steel. I think it's S135 35. The stainless steel that they recommend that they do the most.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a run, but they're going to do
Is
this.
it S35 VN?
S35.
Okay.
It's S35, exact. My mind's kind of slipping.
No worries.
But this will be available through Tops, though, in their roster in 1095 for
Okay.
the regular production.
All right.
And what's cool about this blade, it's got the same feature, little 90-degree grind right here, bottle opener, little grab hook. But what makes it unique compared to all is being on a motorcycle, I hate carrying too many tools, so it's also got a little bit holder for a multi-purpose tool.
I love it.
They get stuck in there.
No, it was good. It was just me like being a pussy.
So, of course, these, we're going to have to put a disclaimer, keep it in the sheath when you use a screwdriver. That's
Yeah, no
why
kidding.
I made a thin sheath. We're making thin sheaths to make it easy for folks to use. And
Cool. I like it. I think it's innovative. It's creative. And you said, now, my immediately when I saw it, I was like, oh, I don't like those sticking out. That's going to jab me. But you said you guys tried it out. It mounts high enough that this kind of sits near the belt and
Yeah,
it doesn't really bug you.
it does.
It's on the hinge point of the body. It's not like it's on the front where it would jam in the top of your leg. So it's clear and out of the way.
And it'll be carried, this one would be a horizontal carry across your belt. I might be able to make some little straps for it to wear vertically, but it's mostly to be carried. And also, like I mentioned,
Yeah, you can flip
if
them
you
around.
have an issue with the bits sticking you put it the opposite way.
All right, cool.
Out
I
of
dig
the
it.
way.
I dig it.
So,
Anything else you want to tell us about?
well, I'm also going to be providing, this is going to be an additional option, a leather piece, and it will hold a couple bits also in the back.
Nice.
So I'll be making these, and these will also be available when the knife's available.
Nice.
And this also fits smaller blades.
And what's that go for?
This one's going to probably go for around $65.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And you make everything in LA?
I make
all at your own
everything.
shop?
Everything's handcrafted, handmade, and I do use stitching machines, but
Yeah, well.
but everything else I put together with my hands, one piece at a time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to tell us about coming down the pipeline?
No, I mean, I'm just excited to be here, and I appreciate you guys having me over, invited me over for the podcast.
Well, I'm happy to have you here and love showing people stuff that maybe they haven't seen before and get a chance to introduce someone they maybe haven't heard of.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Thanks
All right.
for coming and chatting.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, sports fans, that's the show. You can see us on Rumble, Spotify, iTunes, The Greg Medford Show. I'm out here at 2023 Blade Show, Atlanta, Georgia.